So if you have 10 family members, that's 30 grand in courses I'm just going to give you. And I lead these courses and it's phenomenal. So what created all this, the YouTube channel and the LinkedIn, I'll show you our podcast. Podcast is pretty cool. So this is our podcast. I own this as well. 119 episodes. It's the only Being podcast that I'm aware of in the world. There might be others. I'm not aware of them. And so all of this got created as a contribution to the world for people to learn about being. If Steve Hardison had not shared with me his enthusiasm for the book, none of this would exist. So let's put Hardison to the side. If Hardison was here right now, he would say, listen to the story about you. So I'm telling you a story about Steve sharing with me his enthusiasm for the book. And it created 100 podcast episodes and 400 YouTube videos. And we've done conferences in India and England and Arizona. And this is wild, all this stuff that's been created. So what does that have to do with you? Well, if you're a coach and you start sharing with people that you're looking for a certain number of clients, or if you sell cars and you're sharing with people that you're striving to become number one at the dealership or whatever, let people know what you're up to. Call your past clients and just say, hey, here's what I'm up to. Or your current clients or your friends. You know, if you're a real estate agent and your son is on the soccer team, the under 10 youth soccer team, make sure the coach knows you're a real estate agent. Hey, I'm an agent. I'll take care of you. You coach my son in soccer, I'll take care of you. So the beingness is sharing creates. My beingness of creating the Facebook group was I felt a tug on my heart to do it. And so I said yes, and it literally has created things happening all over the world. I mean, I could go on, and I'm not going to, but I could go on for hours telling you about all of the miracles that I'm aware of, and there's probably more than 1,000 miracles that I'm not aware of things that have happened all over the world because of a conversation that Steve and I had. And sometimes I'll kind of think about, because this book has over 400 pages and it probably originally had like 600. So the editors, they're cutting it from 600 to 400 pages. And so they got to cut a bunch of stuff out. And so maybe my little mention came up and somebody said to Steve, we should cut out that 1.5 pages on that loft home guy. You know, it's not a big part of the book, which it's not. And Steve's like, I don't know, my intuition's telling me to leave it in. Because had he never left it in, there would be no Facebook group, Instagram, podcast, company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty wild stuff, cool stuff, super cool stuff. So the 3 distinctions of being, I'm going to put these in the chat. This is life-changing, guys. What I'm going to teach you right now, this is life-changing, game-changing, amazing changing. Like, this is big time stuff. I've been studying these ideas, personal development, since 1988. And this is amongst the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had is around being. So 3 distinctions of being. We're always being. We can observe our being. We can shift our being. So if, like, no one teaches you how to be, right? If I'm being, I'm going through the motions in my marriage, okay? If I'm being that, like, we're always being, I can observe my being as a husband, all right? And I notice I'm going through the motions. Now I have the power, number 3, to shift it. I don't have to shift it, but I can shift it. So shift it and be fully engaged, be all in, be who I create myself to be. My declaration is, I am the world's greatest husband. And it's not a comparison. I'm not saying I'm better than your husband, or if you're a husband, I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm saying this is how I show up for my wife. I declare to the universe, I am the world's greatest husband. And you better believe that positively impacts my marriage. So we're talking about declarations, consciously creating who you are. So I was talking to somebody the other day. They're in a recruiting opportunity, a business opportunity where they're recruiting. And they told me that they said, I'm not on my A game. That was what Eric, I'm not on my A game. I'm like, okay, did something happen? Did an incident happen that knocked you off your A game? And they go, yeah, COVID. I go, okay, well, what happened? Well, we do business in person. COVID happened and we had to pivot to virtual. So we all pivoted to virtual, and then now we can be with people again. And so we pivoted back to in person. I go, okay, what's the problem? They said, I don't want to pivot back to in person. I want to stay virtual. I'm like, okay, no problem. Then be virtual. And they go, but I don't have my system set up for virtual. So who they're being is, I want to be virtual, but my systems aren't set up. And in their business model, it's primarily in person. And I said to her, I said, look, why don't you be the greatest leader in the company at leading virtual teams? And it landed with her, and she said, I just got goosebumps. Because I was giving her a possibility to live into. Who she was being was, I'm not on my A game. So how do you show up if you're not on your A game, right? We all know what that looks like. If she starts being, I'm the number one leader, virtual leader in the company, and she can absolutely be that because there is nobody else. No one else is doing that. No one else has even thought of that. So I'm giving her something to step into, right? So when I said, I'm the world's greatest husband, you may have never even thought of that. Let's say you're married. You may have never even thought of that as to what your beingness is in your marriage, because it's probably a new idea for you. So now you start consciously creating. You're prospecting, your referrals. Here's what some people tell me on a coaching call. You know, Eric, I know I should be getting more referrals, but I always forget to ask. There's your declaration. I should be getting more referrals, but I always forget to ask. So you're going to go on a sales call, and then who are you going to be? You're going to forget to ask for referrals. I mean, this is driving the bus, guys. The more I've dug into this, the more I've realized this is driving the bus. So you take this distinction and you apply it to create revenue now. Who am I being as it relates to creating revenue now? Some people in their thinking are like, I'll do revenue in 2026. You know, I'm training right now. I'm gonna train. I'm not criticizing that. There's nothing wrong with that. But why not create revenue now while you're training? It's not right or wrong. It's just it's an observation. This could be one of your 10 best ideas of the class. Who am I being? Who have you been being in creating revenue now? We're 6 months into the year. Who have you been being? Going through the motions, hit and miss. I put my foot on the gas, I take my foot off the gas. And it's not wrong or right. It's just, you just take a look. Sometimes people tell me, Eric, I took my foot off the gas because I'm being a caretaker for my mom. And I'll often say, as you should. This is a season for you to not be revenue focused. This is a season to take care of your mom. And at my age, I'm 54, and I have clients of all ages, but I have many clients in my age range, and our parents are getting older, and it's not uncommon for one of my clients to be a caretaker. And excuse me, they might be feeling guilt about their business. And it's like, no, this isn't the season for you to produce. Or maybe it is. Maybe you're like, Eric, I have no choice. I have to produce. Okay, so it's caretaking and it's producing and it's giving yourself grace. So who have you been being in creating revenue? You take a look at that. Now here's the next question. Who do you need to be? So just type something in the chat. Like what's connecting with you right now? You're in Create Revenue Now, one-day seminar. Who do you need to be in creating revenue from this moment forward, the rest of this year? Who do you need to be? Whatever pops in your head, just type in the chat. What's showing up for you on who you need to be? And know that what's showing up, you can choose it. I'm going to choose to step up. I'm going to choose to work through resistance. I'm going to choose to run with Eric in the coaching program, in the group. I'm going to choose to level up. I'm going to choose to go all in. I'm going to choose to be consistent. But the big idea, guys, it's a choice. You get to choose it. Some of you are here. I want to spotlight Thomas for just a moment. Thomas is one of my coaches. I'm just take a peek and see. I didn't see if he was on here today. Yeah, there's no requirement that he be on here. But Thomas took on inviting a bunch of you. Some of you are here because Thomas took on personally inviting you. And that could be true of my other coaches as well. Maybe I invited you, maybe Rossi, maybe Jim, Thomas. But Thomas, he led our team in personal invites. And what I've been talking to Thomas about, growing sales through building relationships and loving on people. Just loving on people. And so who is Thomas being? He's being Massive Action. He's being inviting, master inviter. It's all a choice. You can choose to step up. You can choose to have this day change your life. You can choose to say, you know what? Eric's teaching me to create my top 10 ideas. He's teaching me to narrow it down to my top 2, and I'm changing my life. I'm never going to be the same. I'm changing it. I'm going for it.